Well, I think this is working. Hello, hello. I'm Sarah, and this is Lolita. She's hanging out with me right now, but it is almost her crazy time, so she might be wild in a little bit. But, oh, hello, Homo sapiens. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. So the last time I live streamed was maybe a month and a half ago, and I was very, very depressed. I was in the middle of a pretty severe and just lengthy period of depression. The worst one I had been in a while. So that's where I was in my last live stream. And now I'll say I'm in the tail end of it. It's not like I'm totally fine. Everything's great. I'm exactly where I want to be. But I am definitely back on track and feeling much better and much more like myself. And it wasn't just a matter of that period passing. It wasn't just something I had to wait to pass. I just said that. It wasn't something that was just, I had to wait it out. There were things that I had to do to kind of get out of it. There always is. It's kind of the whole journey for me is just R&D on my life, figuring out what works, what doesn't, just constantly adapting and learning and implementing new techniques and strategies to kind of get to the next level, get back on track, whatever I need at that point. So, hello, Joe. Hello. So when I was in the worst of it most recently, I was just very, I couldn't enjoy things anymore. It was very strong anhedonia. I had very little motivation for much. And especially in December, like once the holidays hit, the holiday was the one aspect that was like, I just need to wait this season out, and the weather, but that's not totally better yet. But so the holidays, I had to get through those. And, at the end of the year, I was just kind of like, I'm just going to do whatever I got to do to get through this time. So I really gave in to a lot of just like not helpful escapes for myself. They're fine in small doses, but I'm not good at small doses. I do have a very addictive personality, and my dopamine is is messed up easily. So I had really gotten to this point where it was like, especially at night, I was just like these dopaminergic binges, whether it was literally binge eating or binge watching YouTube videos. I would never just watch YouTube videos either. I'd put on a podcast or something while playing Slay the Spire for a little bit. I went back to Slay the Spire and then had to leave my Switch somewhere because that game is awful for me. I love it too much. And I will never touch Balatro because I know it would be a way worse addiction for me. At any rate, hi, Tolly. And like when I caught that and I was like, I need to get rid of this game, I left my Switch at my mom's house and left 2048 on my computer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this game. It's a very basic game, but it doesn't require much thinking. You can kind of just like get in a groove with it. And those are the kinds of things I was participating in. Things where like, I'm just like scrolling or all these things that are so easy to like, just like release all this dopamine, but it's just like empty. Not satisfying and not, it's just, you need more and more. So I knew like at the end of the year, I knew that I was going to try and buckle down and fix all of that and get in a better place in the new year. And then, I had big plans. And then New Year's Eve, I came down with COVID. So things were a little bit set back. I didn't get to implement my plans the way that I had planned. But that's the thing about plans. They don't always work out. But it was still good. Like I was very sick. So I was isolated here. I've been hanging in this spot. And isolation's always really helpful for me. It's not always really helpful for me. It can be helpful for me when implemented strategically, I guess. Um, just having more time to myself, and especially I've been disconnecting from the internet and social media more. That's been a really big thing, but I'll get back to that. Being sick, I was kind of like stuck home alone. I couldn't really do much. But I used that time. I was like, this doesn't mean that I have to wait another week before I can start what I wanted to do. I'll do what I can. And that's always the most important thing. We can plan and have whatever intentions we have, but we can't always do what we would like to do. We have to work around our circumstances. Just always be able to adapt and adjust based on what you're given and whatever else. So when I'm not doing well, one of my early videos, I think it's called 5 Tips for Getting Out of Hard Times, something like that. In that I talk about this concept that I'm not going to say I came up with it. It's like the most basic knowledge. But in my head, I call it back to the basics, where when I'm really not doing well, I first try to focus on the absolute basics, the necessities for, being a happy, healthy human. Sleep, diet, and movement. So I've been really working on getting my sleep back on track lately, which is difficult for anyone, but sleep is like the most important thing. It affects every one of our other processes. Then diet, I started really working on more nutrition and just kind of reworking my systems. That's the bigger thing. So sleep, diet, movement. Okay, I can come up with ways that I can improve all of those, but the most important thing that I've been working on is just building different systems and improving different systems. So like sleep, I could say, okay, every night I'm going to go to bed at this time, and then I'm going to fall asleep, and then I'm going to wake up at this time, and I'll have my good quality sleep. But habits are not usually that simple. And I used to be really good with sleep, but I had for a while now been stuck on watching podcasts all night, and then, playing video games until I fall asleep, until, I would really be resisting my own body, and not listening to it. If it was telling me I needed to sleep, I wasn't listening to it, I was just letting myself get to this point where I'd be like, okay, I have to now. So now instead at night, I've been giving myself a screen time cutoff, which I've done in the past, and found very helpful. I will be breaking it in 20 minutes to do this, but that's okay. Hello, Friar. You guys are cute. Screen time cutoff. It's so freeing, especially right now. Like, there's so much bad news on the internet, and it's just not. The outside world isn't great right now. And it's really nice to disconnect from it just for a few hours and focus on whatever in the physical world. And so that has naturally led more easily to me being able to go to sleep at a better time. I'm actually implementing a bedtime routine. It's not even just about, blue light. You're not supposed to have that for a few hours before sleep. It's so much more than that. You can actually wind down and not have your brain cluttered with all of these other things you're thrown at, when you are using technology like that. So that's been very helpful. Sleep is huge. Another good thing, if you're trying to correct your sleep, which is what I did this time as well, set a wake up time, and no matter what, wake up at that time. And as soon as you wake up, get up. So, we can't always control like when we fall asleep, at least. You can force yourself to go lay in bed. You can't always control when you fall asleep, but you can force yourself to wake up. And then if you're forcing yourself to wake up at a certain time, then hopefully, naturally, if you're doing these other things, it'll be easier to fall asleep at a consistent time at night. So I've been back to 6:30. I wake up every morning, and as soon as I wake up, I get up. I started like watching a lot of stuff and reading a lot of stuff about dopamine, and this idea has been a really big part of that. So like it's a lot of people suggest the same thing when it comes to dopamine, at least, one aspect. But when you wake up, first of all, get up right away, start moving, start doing stuff, start being productive. But most importantly, actually physically moving around. That actually like helps our dopamine build up and naturally release instead of just instantly getting on your phone and, just like flushing it all, just spiking and then ruining you for the rest of the day. That's been the single most helpful thing for me lately. I wake up, I get up, I do not touch my phone. I don't have my phone around me, and it's not even as if I'm doing stuff in the morning and I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I can use my phone. I'm not thinking about it. I don't care about it. So that's been really nice and really freeing. And even like I've been resisting just like listening to podcasts in the morning or even music until a certain point. It's been nice. I'm just moving around. And as I'm moving around I'm doing little things and getting stuff done, it feels so good. And then like starting the day off that way, then it just like, it does build you up, set you up for success the rest of the day. And it feels good. And like I said, this wasn't a period of time where I just had to like wait my depression out. It wasn't just some hormonal imbalance. Like it was caused by things going on in my life. And some of those things I can control. Joe says sleep hygiene is important for sure. It truly is. I mean, like, it's like, I have this book, Why We Sleep, and I only read like the first half. It was very dense and kind of got a little fear-mongery, not getting enough sleep. But it is crazy to like think about and read about, how important sleep is. And we don't even have any idea everything that it actually affects. It's pretty crazy. Sitting in bed doom scrolling, it's bad. It really is. Oh yeah. Tali says she feels like this can be helpful for her anxiety too, not just depression. That's the thing is, everything is also interconnected, I feel like, because the dopamine stuff is all related to, ADHD and depression and anxiety. And when you improve in some areas, it definitely spills into the others. So mornings, that has been the most helpful thing for me. And like just doing that automatically starts building other little healthy habits. Like I'm waking up and I'm hydrating like crazy. Not like crazy, but I'm hydrating appropriately. And, it makes you more likely to like eat a healthier breakfast and actually eat. For me, I really lose touch with my own body when I'm so consumed by those dopaminergic little binges. Because, my body and my brain are both trying to tell me not to do the things that I'm doing, and I just ignore them. So when it comes to an average day, like I get so caught up in things and, it gets hard to like plan, oh, I'm supposed to eat at a certain time, or, hey, don't forget to drink water. Hey, don't forget to drink water, guys. I got a Stanley for Christmas. Do you like it? I didn't think I would, but I actually absolutely love it. Sometimes I feel I'm addicted to stress. That's a really interesting statement. And I'd love to hear you expand on that because I don't want to assume what you mean by that. Tali says she's been really putting a tiny bit of apple cider vinegar in her water lately. Helps her focus on other healthy habits. Thank you. It is a nice color, Stanley. I actually haven't done much with apple cider vinegar, but I have a lot of digestive issues and whatever else. And I've heard that helps with that. I've heard some mixed things, but if that's been helping you, that's awesome. Very glad to hear it. I've been drinking more like lemon and lime water, which I haven't done since I was young, and it's tasty. But I'm usually just happy with regular water. So yeah, healthier diet, movement's also been another big thing for me. So this is what was hard before is like my health had gotten really bad and my heart stuff was bad and I was forced to rest a lot more and to move a lot less. And so that was naturally affecting me pretty negatively. And it was leading me to just, now I'm lying down, I'm on my phone and falling back into these escapes because, what can I do? I'm sick. I'm having these heart problems. All I can do is lay here. But I'm getting better at reprogramming my brain again to be in more control, and not just saying, yeah, all I can do is lay here, I might as well. But like, okay, I have to lay here, but what else can I do while I'm laying here that, will make me actually feel good and will contribute to these bigger things that are important to me in my life and not just keep me going down these same paths, which maybe it's like the video games where it's for the most part just like wasting time. Or it's like binge eating, which is, you're gaining weight or you're getting sick and your GERD is flaring up, like a lot of binging things have actual really negative effects. So it's not even like you're just staying stuck. Like a lot of times when you go down that road, you start really declining. So I'm just taking a lot more opportunities to try and figure out, okay, what can I do? I might not be able to do certain things, but what can I do? And I've been more aware of when I get stuck outside of that mindset. Last night I remember I was just like laying down and I was tired, but not like trying to go to sleep tired. It probably was a dopamine thing. I just like had no motivation to do anything and I just kind of wanted to like lay there. But I also wanted to get in a little more movement and get some more things done before it was time for sleep. Like it was a little bit early and I could have just like cut off my day and said, hey, that's fine. I'll just lay down, watch whatever, and then eventually fall asleep. But instead I made myself just get up and I started moving around. Nothing crazy, I didn't get up and start sprinting, but just moving around a bit. I played with Lo a little. I got some things done. And it felt good. It was such a nicer way to cap off the night. Then I did a little face routine and, teeth and all of that. Got into bed and I was able to fall asleep pretty quickly last night, which is nice. And it just like, it felt good getting into bed and just knowing that I was happy with what I had done in a day. And with everything going on, that's become so much more like prominent in my thinking. It's just like, there's a lot of bad external stuff, especially right now. Like there's a lot of bad stuff going on that is out of my control. And life is very unpredictable. I was reminded of that again personally last week, and anything can happen at any time. Like, it sounds awful and I say this sometimes, but it's 100% true, is that you can lose anyone or anything at any time. You know, we're in a lot of ways, we're like playing a game and we didn't make the rules, and the rules can change on us at any time, you know? So I've really been working hard to do the best I can to build my personal life. You know, if I am happy with myself and with how I conduct myself and the systems that I have, the parts that can't be taken away from me, then bring it on, you know? Or please don't. But if the universe does, then I can handle it. Sorry, I haven't been watching chat, but I'm glad you guys are talking. Okay, back to the addicted to stress. Stress feels good in the short term, like I'm accomplishing something. But I feel like I'm just chasing instant gratification and it stresses me out more. Oh, don't worry. Just apologize. Yeah, no, don't worry about not expanding before. But that's interesting. I mean, I'm accomplishing something, but I feel I'm just chasing instant gratification. Yeah, I mean, it's the instant gratification stuff is kind of what goes against dopamine. Like with dopamine, it's really like a pain pleasure situation where like you have to put in work. You have to do that extra, it can be painful, but it's like there has to be effort expended. You have to have done something and then you get the reward. And that's when you actually get the pleasure. And then, it's also growth and whatever else. Funny about motivation, it doesn't precede action. It comes as a result of action. 100%. I'm going to say that again since I said it, reading it out loud. Funny thing about motivation, it doesn't precede action. It comes as a result of the action. Totally true. A lot of people wait around for motivation. You wait like, oh, I just got to wait until I feel motivated. But doing is what actually creates motivation. It's once you start moving, then you start feeling it. So it's really a matter of fighting against your natural instincts, or your brain is naturally wired to do something, but we are, gift and a curse, I guess. But, we're actually able to understand these things and work against our own wiring and rewire with work. But so that's the interesting thing. And that's why I love learning about this stuff and thinking about it all the time. It's just I seek to understand in all areas, but especially myself and how I work. A lot of that is understanding how people work in general. But also then, uniquely me and the pieces of me. I totally forget why I was just saying that. The problem with these live streams is I do like to start them a little later, like around 8. But as I've said, I think in both of my previous ones, my Vyvanse has run out by this time. So my ADHD is really bad, and it is hard to just stream of consciousness talk to you guys. Dave Potts says, thanks for sharing. I discovered your channel while dating someone with it said BP diagnosis. I'm not sure if that's a typo or if you meant bipolar disorder or BPD, either way. And mixed attachment style. Do those go hand in hand? Shows firsthand in the first time in my life. I see the intense work. I'm lost in all those big feelings. Waza. So Dave Potts said they were dating someone with a BP diagnosis. I'm not sure if they meant BPD, but said that their partner had a mixed attachment style. So that's also known as disorganized attachment, where it's kind of a mixture of anxious and avoidant attachment. It's extreme pushes and pulls, but coming from the same person. I do think that that's very common in BPD because it's related to kind of how splitting works. Yeah. Yeah, because it's the love hate. That there can be that very totally pushing someone away and avoiding them, and like just getting the ick to an extreme and just like feeling bad things about this person, and then it's, oh my god, no, I love you, the classic I hate you, don't leave me. Which obviously is not the case for everyone with BPD, blah, blah, blah. But very common. So I do think disorganized attachment is common in those people, but it's still just, it's all insecure attachment. It all kind of comes from the same place. Yeah, not easy to tackle, but I think disorganized and anxious are both easier to tackle, just kind of more likely because it affects you in such obvious ways. I don't know. That's hard for me to explain right now, so I'm not going to. But I do have a video on attachment styles. I don't think I talked about disorganized attachment in that. But yes, absolutely related to BPD. Not everyone has that attachment style, but not uncommon. So what else? My productive mornings have been great. So just like starting my mornings without technology, ending my days without technology. Really great. Oh yeah, like using rest time, not productively, but sure, productively, just positively. Like I was really on a roll last week. I took off a week of work. I've done this 3 years in a row now in January. It's I don't love burning my PTO right in the beginning of the year, but I just find it so necessary. Like after the holidays and everything at the end of the year and starting a new year, I just need like a week to reset and reorganize and, really set myself up for the next year. So I had off all last week, and that definitely also helped me get to the next level here. But I was having great, really productive days. And then in the middle of the week, my plantar fasciitis flared up, foot tendinitis, basically. I guess that's the easiest way to describe it. I ain't no doc, but so I couldn't really walk around, and I have hypermobility problems, so I experience this type of thing a lot. And when I just push through the pain and don't rest enough, it can last a long time. So I've learned I just need to listen to my body at those times and rest. So it was unfortunate because I had plans and I was doing all these things and it required a lot of movement, and I suddenly couldn't move as much. Fine. So I changed my plans, and I, again, went back to that mindset, not of I can't do this, so whatever, there goes my day. It was, can't do that. What can I do? So instead, I could lay here and read or sit and organize stuff or whatever else, creative problem solving. But it's a lot. Control. Feeling like you have control over your life is so big in not resist, not avoid. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but getting away from depression. It's a big aspect of depression is feeling out of control in certain circumstances. But it can be really hard to pull yourself out of difficult times when you feel like you don't have control over your own life. And sure, there are a lot of aspects of your life that you don't have control over. But I think there are a lot more that we do, a lot more than we tell ourselves that we do, especially when we're in those places. I mentioned something, me talking about just getting out of bed quickly. And when I'm stuck laying down, getting up and making myself move around, feeling better. Part of that I've been implementing Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. That's what it's called, right? Yeah. Somehow I never really read or listened to Mel Robbins until recently. And I love her. She's cool as hell. But 5-second rule, really simple. It's this thing that she kind of came up with herself and used herself for a while. Found really helpful. Got her out of an awful spot. It helped her husband a lot as well. She didn't really know why it worked, just that it did. And she thought it was like kind of a weird thing, silly thing. And then she mentioned it in like a TED Talk or some kind of speech. And it resonated with a lot of people and people really loved it. So then she was like, oh, this is actually a thing, and did more research, found out why it works, whatever else. But most simple thing in the world. If you're mentally stuck in any way or about to do something you know you shouldn't do, or not doing something you know that you want to do, you just stop and literally count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at 1, you do whatever you're going to do, or you don't do what you want to resist. So like waking up in the morning. Sure, it might be hard to just get up and get out of bed. But if you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it literally like disrupts something in your brain and changes, like snaps you out of that a million reasons not to get out of bed, or just thinking about everything in your day, but still staying stuck in bed, stuck thinking. It just like snaps you out of all that, and you just get up. And then the more you do that, you can kind of like train yourself to get stuff done. I wanted to implement it more consistently, and I haven't been yet. I do plan on it at some point, but it has been helpful, and it feeds back to all this other stuff. Like even when I'm not actually using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I still use like the concept, I'd snap myself out of it and say like, I just have to do this now. And then I can. My New Year resolution is to stay in BPD remission for at least a year. Hopefully I can do it. I hope that you can. You deserve it, It's so hard, the BPD stuff. And it really... I love hearing people who are hopeful and working towards remission, obviously. That's my whole big thing. But I do love hearing stuff like that. And I wish you the best of luck in your journey. And it's worth it. It's hard work. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And same thing with all of this. Again, it's... when you give in to just like escapes and bad habits and whatever else, it's this like empty pleasure that usually comes as a result of not doing anything to even like earn that pleasure. Because our whole society is like built, like so many things are built to just like, do that dopamine bullshit. Social media is awful. It's so much worse than ever in so many ways. I deactivated my personal Instagram account. I just couldn't. I do have a serotonin account. Go follow me there. I haven't been on it too much lately just because I've kind of cut off all the world for a little bit. But I'm getting back in there. So give me a follow over there if you do use Instagram, and if you don't, good for you, because it's not a good place. Social media can have such good uses, but they're building it now just so it's like none of that matters. Like they don't let you use it in the way that would be helpful for you. Even Reddit. Like I used to get off Instagram and then I'd at least let myself keep Reddit. But now it's like so crazy algorithm driven, and I'm just reading Am I overreacting? I read those all the time, and I'm just reading people's arguments and just for no reason. It's so bad. Anyway, I don't remember why I was saying any of that. What time is it? 8:30? 8:38. But so this is all like actual work that I'm doing to fix my habits and kind of rework these systems and just, get myself more aligned with how I want to live my life and what I want to be able to achieve in a day, in a week, in a month, in 5 years. So I do see different layers to getting out of a depressive episode or generally healing and growing, where, this is really still more surface level stuff. Sleep, diet, movement, environment, whatever else. But at the same time, I'm also doing a lot of this deeper work. And I do think that I'm going to get into that a lot more in my next live stream, because it's like a whole different topic in my brain, but is connected to this because together is how we actually grow and move forward. But at the crux of that deeper work is just really connecting with my core identity and my core self and listening to my body, listening to that core, I don't know, my spirit. I don't know. There's something in here. There's something else in here. And I am listening to it more. And so that's a really big thing to all of this as well. You can know that you have to change your habits, and you can even believe that you can. But if there isn't more of a driving force, more of a purpose for doing that work, it can be hard to do it. And I do have bigger goals now and things that I want out of life. And I'm still young, but I am getting older every day. And, experiencing more death recently. I think about time a lot. I feel a lot of discomfort in wasting time. It's so easy to waste time. And so sad that we do so often. Don't remember why I was talking about that. I might hop off here early, guys. Usually I stay for pretty long. Does anyone have any questions or anything? I appreciate you guys. I do want to, I always want to work on my regular videos more, but I am actually reworking my systems so that I can kind of have more balance in my life. So that I'll be able to do that and in a way that I'm happy with and is sustainable without throwing off all the other aspects of my life. It's really about figuring out, for me specifically, and on your journeys for you specifically, what works for you and what meets your needs. Hold on, I do have questions here now. Do you study in any non-duality? Find it comforting as one who struggles with a sense of self, knowing that there's no such thing as a self. We are all connected. I don't study it directly. But yeah, that sounds like concepts that I've kind of, I will have to look into that, because even just you writing that now, my brain is exploding with thoughts surrounding it. So I'll have to look into that and think about that later. I'll get back to you on that one. Where is Lolita? also a great question. I have no idea. She's usually up my butt. We're like max friendship right now. And as soon as I sit down anywhere, she's like coming over to sit on my lap. But she left. I don't know. What do we have on the docket? I think that I'm pretty good for the night. I set up. That's another big thing is I'm always thinking about future Sarah. You know, I'm always prepping little things or cleaning little things or setting things up just to make like things easier for me in the near future. And really learning how to do that. Again, it's just like learning how to uniquely set yourself up for success, whatever that success looks like for you. It just really takes understanding yourself. Me, I have a lot of, you know, quote unquote disabilities, a lot of chronic conditions, a lot of things that make me have to live pretty differently than a lot of people to stay healthy and sane. And that's okay, you know, like I spent so long trying to put myself into these boxes that, you know, were normal in a lot of ways. And there is no normal, you know. It's okay that you're unique and you have unique needs, and it's just about figuring out what works for you. I'm done, guys. I'm done. You can expect to see something from me soon, I hope. If I don't have a new video coming out soon, I will at least be doing a new live in a few weeks. I do want to do at least one of these a month. I really enjoy them. It's cool having you guys come chat with me, and it's nice getting practice talking out loud about this stuff that I think about and I'm working through. Sorry, I have a shaky table. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and commenting, and I will be back again next time. I think I'm going to talk more about this deeper work that I'm doing right now. So the big theme of that work, hold on one second. I've understood this for a long time, but I haven't, and I just had a really big breakthrough recently about how much it's actually affected my entire life, all of my decisions, all of everything. But it's this feeling of not belonging. And so that's really connected to authentic living and sense of identity and these other concepts. My throat. These other concepts that I've been working on for a while. But really realizing the extent of it and how much it still affects me. And I feel so alone. Even when I'm not. And, so like kind of understanding that better and understanding everything that it affects, and really building my, not just my sense of self. I feel like I have a strong sense of self. I just try and protect it from others because I feel so not understood when I do try and show myself to others. Lost my train of thought. But Brene Brown, who I also love, I randomly picked up this book that's been on my shelf for years now, Braving the Wilderness. It's been perfect for right in the beginning. I was just like, it's crazy that I just picked this book up to read right now because it's exactly what I'm working through, and hearing someone else talk about it, someone who's actually doing research on it, you know, discuss this topic and kind of validate the thoughts I already have and now expanding on them. Very interesting. So if anyone wants a book recommendation and you want a little, maybe like a little book club, because I'll definitely be done by my next live stream. Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. I'll put a link in the description to this video after I'm done streaming. So that'll be the topic of the next one, kind of, just dealing with and working past this feeling of not belonging. So that's that. Thank you guys again for coming out. Appreciate you all. Love you all. I hope to see you guys soon. All right. Peace. How do I end this?